What's going on? It's JDC here. Today we're talking about Sekou Doumbouya on the Brooklyn Nets because he did get traded a couple of days ago from the Detroit Pistons to the Brooklyn Nets. So his situation in Brooklyn is definitely interesting, and I think it's pretty interesting to look at, and probably one of the better things on the Nets right now. So what's up? My name is JDC. If you like the video, drop a like down below, press the sub button. It'd be really appreciated. We do NBA content here, but mostly Houston Rockets. Obviously, we have a Brooklyn Nets video today, and Houston Rockets news has been pretty dry, so we are doing some NBA news here and there. So if you like what you see, drop a like down below, press the sub button, let's get into the video. So Sekou Doumbouya got traded by Jahlil Okafor on the Detroit Pistons for Brooklyn center DeAndre Jordan, 4 future second round picks, and $5 million in cash to Detroit. So I definitely like this move for Brooklyn because they do get a very young star in Sekou Doumbouya, who's only 20 years old, 6'8", and 230 pounds. So can definitely play the power forward slash small forward. I think he's going to be very solid off the bench. With the Brooklyn Nets already looking pretty great. There you got Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant. They also got Paul Millsap, Blake Griffin. They also got a lot of good players, Nicholas Claxton still. They did release Alice Johnson, which is something that's a little bit bad because he did get some really good stats in the minutes he was getting, but wasn't really in the rotation that much, and quite honestly was looking like he was on his way out. So, and then obviously Brooklyn got their 2 rookies in Cam Johnson and Darren Sharp. So the Brooklyn Nets are looking pretty nice right now, especially with Jahlil Okafor. I think he's going to be pretty underrated as a backup center, if he gets backup minutes. But Sekou Doumbouya is definitely the talker about this video because he's 20 years old, got picked in the 2019 NBA draft, the 15th pick by Detroit. Wasn't really getting too many minutes with Detroit overall. And this season especially last season, he didn't really get too many minutes. So looking at his overall stats with the Detroit Pistons last season, he did average 5 points per game, did average 3 rebounds, and did average 0.8 assists. So on 38% from the field and then 23% from 3. So his shooting splits are absolutely horrendous. He is a career 25% three-point shooter, but he's only played in 2 seasons. So Sekou Doumbouya, the Nets could be a make or break change for him in his career because Sekou wasn't really getting the minutes that he deserved. Only did average 16 minutes per game last season, and before that 20 minutes. So he did play in 56 games too. So Sekou, I definitely think he's gonna get some more runs on the Brooklyn Nets, especially because with how thin the roster is. They do have people like obviously Claxton, Joe Harris, Bruce Brown. They also got people like Blake Griffin, like I said before, James Johnson, Paul Millsap, LaMarcus Aldridge now. So it is going to be a little bit tough to fit Doumbouya in the roster, but I think he's going to break in some minutes depending on what he shows them at training camp and what he can bring to the team. I definitely think he's going to be a very underrated piece on this roster. They already got some really great young talent on this team. Darren Sharp, obviously Cam Thomas, Bruce Brown's pretty underrated too. So it's not like the Nets future is in desperate need of young talent, but they definitely can use a little bit more, and by getting Sekou Doumbouya definitely helps. Now they did give up 4 firsts for trading DeAndre Jordan too, who's 32, 33. So giving up 4 first-round picks to give up DJ's contract, it's a little bit high and a little bit low too, because you're getting rid of DeAndre Jordan's contract, which is absolutely horrendous. He's 33 years old, didn't really play in the playoffs. Actually, I don't think he even logged in like a minute at best in the playoffs last season. So yeah, getting rid of that guy. But you're also giving up 4 second-round picks, which you can say they are second-round picks, but there are picks at the end. So at the end of the day, they are picks. You could get some really good steals in the draft at the second-round pick. For example, Nikola Jokic, 41st pick in the draft. It's definitely going to be interesting to see, if the Sekou Doumbouya project works, because I think he is a project. It just really depends on how the Brooklyn Nets develop him, because I think he has some pretty great potential. Could definitely become into a very great role player on this team, depending on what he shows them and how he develops. So hopefully he gets some runs on the Nets next season, and hopefully he gets some minutes, because I want to see this guy ball. The Brooklyn Nets, they already do have a pretty solid roster. I'm just not seeing how he breaks minutes over people like Paul Millsap, LaMarcus Aldridge. Obviously, if one of them goes down with an injury, he's going to get some more runs. So the Brooklyn Nets starting 5, I'm just going to guess probably Kyrie Irving, James Harden, depending if everyone's healthy, obviously. Joe Harris at the 3, Durant at the 4, and then Blake Griffin 5. Off the bench, going to be Millsap, LaMarcus Aldridge, going to be Bruce Brown, going to be Nicholas Claxton. That's going to be a very big lineup. And then probably the last person is going to be I mean, yeah, I think it's gonna be Sekou. I think he really is gonna break it. I think he's gonna play over Jalil Okafor. It makes sense. I think they're gonna send Sharp and Cam Thomas to the G League, which makes sense so they can develop. So yeah, I think I like this trade for the Brooklyn Nets a little bit more than I do for the Pistons. Now the Pistons do get 4 second-round picks in return, so which it makes sense, and then they bought out DeAndre Jordan, so they do add on to their stash of picks alongside with their young talent in Cade Cunningham, Kelly Hayes, all these young pieces on that roster. Sadiq Bey. It's going to be pretty great for the Detroit Pistons too, getting 4 second-round picks. So we'll just see who favors in this more later on in the season, because if Sekou decides to go off for the Brooklyn Nets, then obviously the Brooklyn Nets won the trade. But if Sekou is pretty bad, doesn't get too many minutes, and is just riding the bench, then it's going to favor the Detroit Pistons. So I like this move for the Brooklyn Nets a little bit more, but only time will really tell how this trade is going to pan out. But I like Sekou Doumbouya. I think he has a ton of potential, and hopefully he breaks some minutes. So that's in the video. My name is JDC, and I'm out. Peace.